10 to 11 on Friday the 22nd of February 18. This is where I finished the walk on the England coast path last time. This has just brought me in from Newcastle. It's about an hour and a quarter. So this is Newbiggin to Church Point Park. And as I saw last time, that's where the walk goes. At the back of the caravan park, not in front, around the church point. And at the signboard it tells us that our next point of interest is Cresswell, 4 miles. So we come to this gate, locked, bolted, a sign here and a big rock in front to prevent bicycles, whatever, through there. It is rather narrow through here, and it does say welcome to Newbiggin Moor. The England coast path passes along the seaward side of Newbiggin golf course for the next mile. Aware of golfers flying golf balls, keep to the path. Beware of cliff edges. Thank you, enjoy your walk. So after the squeeze through, it's onwards along the path behind the caravan park. You can see in the distance the sea now behind the caravan park. And onto the golf course, Newbiggin Moor. And the power station that was set up for the aluminium works, which has ceased to be and has been demolished. The view to the right of the sea and the view to the left of the houses at the end of the road at Newbiggin. The terminus of the bus is called Cresswell Arms. The golfers on Newbiggin golf course getting closer towards the power station. Continue along the track at the edge of the golf course. A repeater sign here. Beware of flying golf balls. Well, if the golf balls fly this way, they're likely to fly into the sea, because this is how close we are to the sea. It did say beware of the cliff edge, but it's not very high. Looking back at Church Point and looking out to the North Sea. Nobody on the little beach here. The path seems to meander right on the edge of the cliff. This is quite a promontory because that's the way we're pointing, and the power station is now immediately on our left. England Coast Path repeater sign. We're now coming to the end of the diversion round the coast. Not a diversion from the path, but from the direct route to the power station, because the power station is now appearing more in front. So we reached this corner and we then turned towards the power station. When I walked along the coast before, I had to turn off and go behind the power station inland and pick up the road. Again, beware of flying golf balls, but if they fly, they'll be in the sea. A bit of coastal erosion here. Power station now directly ahead. It's a much calmer day than when I last came about 6 weeks ago. There's no wind, so hopefully it won't be drowning out the commentary. I'd like to get to Cresswell by noon, and then it's past Drury Bay. Last time I did that it was along the sand, but the official route is over the dunes and on the land side. There's no real stopping point for buses, so it's Amble or nothing, I think. Another sign, and the side of this wall. here. I think when I came last time I went straight across. It was signed that way, hopefully it was an official path at that time. But now it veers sharp right along the edge to go in front of the power station. And the view, looking back a little bit, looking around. Along a bit of untidy part of the England coast path, but we get the confirmations, thankfully, that we are on the right route. So this was the route I didn't come on before. I made my way to the road. Now we've got a bit of a muddy section here. Having traversed that, it's full speed ahead round to the power station. Following the signs, that's falling into the sea there, the edge. I can still hear golf balls being hit the other side of the mound, so we're still on the edge of the golf course. And up and down over the dunes and round in front of these concrete things. Quite a lot of rubbish on this section of the beach, the tide clearly coming in right to the edge of the cliff. But there are lots of signs confirming the route. Here's yet another one. Drop down and up the other side. And up the other side we approach the chimney of the power station with these lagoons left by the tide. But a good clear path. Which wends its way very close to the edge and still with the golf course on the left, climbing out just here. If you need to go to the golf course, that is, because the route clearly goes round here. I'm intrigued to find out what route the coast path takes in front of the power station, that is between the power station and the sea. It's still a very good path. Whether it was here before or not, I don't know. I don't know whether it was a public footpath before, but it certainly is now. You can see a sign on the other side of the dip, so it's straight ahead towards the chimney. Choice of path here, I'll take the wider one. Down at the bottom of the dip, it's possible to hear the power station humming in the background. So up the bank the other side, I assume, because the sign was at the top. No, it's not up the other side, because there's a sign just here. And at the top of that, there's a sandy track. Why did it take that diversion instead of coming up the main track? A lot of signs, which is good because there are so many tracks. Still moving away from the power station now towards the sea. along the side track and not the cart track, the road track. So that track comes to an end here. But as I've said before, as long as the sea is on the right, you're always going in the right direction. So down there seems to be a way around the fence. The power station being fenced in. On the left, here it is. So the sign pointing down towards the rocks. I don't know how long those rocks have been there, but they're certainly needed to protect the path, which is very close to the edge. 11:25, so I've been going about half an hour so far, and the path now between the grasses on the left and the big rocks on the right. And round this sharp corner, this looks interesting. What's happening now? Which way does it go? England Coast Path on the concrete, but it's not that way, I hope. Through this narrow gap, we've got this fence that we've got to get round. Through this narrow gap here, so a lot of people aren't going to be able to get through because they'll be too fat. And then along this nicely done track, again, I don't know how long the rocks have been here, but they're nicely there. Makes it nicely protected from the sea. And there's another layer of rocks lower down. So we've got a wonderful track here. Somebody's done a good job here, thank you very much. Walking along the side of this fence towards Cresswell now. About as close as we're going to get to the power station. In the distance I can see people on the beach, which usually means approaching a village. The only village to get near is Cresswell, so that may be a sign that we're getting near Cresswell. Oh, this is a good long path with two posts. Either the notice has disappeared off them and they're redundant, or the posts are there to put a new sign on. I think people on the beach are not from Cresswell, but from the car park somewhere along. On the promontory on the horizon you can see the properties in Cresswell. I think, if I remember it, the first section is a caravan area. But this is a good clear path, getting along quite merrily. We're certainly not going to be getting along directly there because it seems to be a mine of some sort, mining the rocks that are there. So we must follow the path carefully. Well, I wouldn't dream of going across this. Follow the path carefully. We've got another narrow entrance exit to this path. So although this path cuts out the diversion away from the power station that I did before, that did end up on the main road. Then you travel north, turn right, and then came back south again to pick up the coast. So we come to these blocks, preventing overweight people from getting on the England Coast Path here. Which way? Well, it's a bit of a squeeze. We get through. Now we must follow this bit carefully because it's got to go a long way around. In fact, it might very well go towards the road. It could go anywhere. The path just here, laid on this top of this wasteland, with sections of the power station to the left and the main power station further back. This is quite a novel section of path, not like any other area I've travelled on it so far. And we dip down to this bridge, up the other side, and then probably to the left again. So across the bridge, interesting coloured liquid in there, going straight out to sea, is it? And on the other side, coming out there. Well, anyway, up the other side. The path quite clear through this derelict area. Very pleasing way it's been done. We've got works inside the perimeter fence. So to this embankment here, probably put in to diminish the sound effects from the works. 2 more rocks to squeeze through, a little bit wider this time, and out of the derelict area into the dunes getting towards Cresswell. We seem to be meeting a road. So we're coming to the end of this ash track. It's been very good. Past the power station. Thank you very much to Northumberland County Council for doing that. That is excellent. It's now 11:35. It's Cresswell 2 and Newbiggin 2, so I'm halfway in about 35 to 40 minutes. Out through another squeeze, no fat people allowed, onto the footpath that's marked on the road. There's the road that way, which is the road I will have come on before, over the bridge here. Because there's no other way across. I have to come to this bridge to get across here and the river. So the cars had to wait. There's only room for 1 car at a time to get across anyway, one width of car. Of course, the cars are getting wider and wider, so eventually no cars will be able to get across. They'll be much too wide. The track now turns off the road, possibly a path I didn't take at the time, but I did come off the road, I remember that. And we're up the incline here. Up the incline, past the power station, well past the power station, and it's a post, and we're on a bit of a breeze now. There's a skylark twittering away above the dunes. Quite a nice approach to Cresswell here. Wide expanse of sand dunes area before getting to Cresswell. I don't suppose it matters too much how one walks along the dunes. What I don't like is to get to the other end and then find the England Coast Path sign pointing in a different direction. So I'm just progressing straight north, or is it northwest a bit, whatever the angle of the coast is on the east of Northumberland. And I think we've got some litter pickers. Don't know what they're doing. I haven't seen one repeater sign on these dunes, so I'm just ambling along. Looks fairly clear path just here. I've just been walking along, so maybe this is the correct track. It's possible to see the road on the left. A couple of minutes has passed, and there's no other obvious track other than this. Still plodding on. So we can see the people on the beach, but it looks as if they're workers, not people just visiting the beach for its own sake. I don't know what they're doing down there. There is a wider path, more well-worn path to the left, which is flat. This one's more undulating, much more exciting, but more tiring of course. I wish we could have had some repeater sign to say which is the official route. Probably it doesn't matter really, over the common land of the sand dunes, grassed sand dunes. Here we're joining the wider track to get around the little dip in front. We're getting very close to the road, but here's why I had to come round and join this track. There's really no other way across. and a lone horse. Oh, there's another one further on. So 2 lone horses. 10 to 12, so I've been going about 50 to 55 minutes. I mean, not quite at Crestful yet. The track dips down over this other track to the beach. It's clearing up all the litter. That's what people are doing. Right, England Coast Path North we have here. Having just passed the second lone horse, it narrows off a bit between the sea and the road, so there's no other way other than the path you can see ahead. The road is just this side of the wall you can see on the left, and a well-defined track. Nowhere else really, because the sea is immediately on the right. The tractor down on the beach, and now the track is right at the side of the road, but away from the road. Veers away slightly from the road here as we get to the 30 signs, which will show that we're very close to the coastal village of Crestful. Just been walking an hour, and there's the sign Crestful. We've just been walking an hour, and there's the sign to Crestful, but that's not the 4 miles. That's not the point where the distance will be measured to. That's the sign, and I think the track is going to join the road again. The path looks as if it's joining the road, and the 30 limit has now reduced to 20 to go through the village. So it comes through the entrance to the little car park here, straight on to the other side, and up the little bank, where we find a nice sign there, and although it doesn't tell us to cross the road, the sign is on the other side. So I'm crossing over. It's slightly wider verge this side. So is this the track here against the wall? It's not over the other side of the wall. I think it's clear that it is meant to be this side, hence the sign this side. Private road to the properties on the right, no access to beach. So along the side of the wall here. So at the end of the wall, it doesn't go anywhere. We've got the gate here, which is padlocked. We've got the fence here. We're clearly not going to go left, but there is no sign telling us to go right either. But that's the way I'm going. We seem to be on a cycle route 1. Well, where are the signs? There aren't any. It's got to be down here though. It would be silly to have a coastal path not going along here, because it's as near to the coast as you can get safely, and it'd probably land at the side of the road. Quite a long stretch in front of all the chalets. It'd have quite a nice view of the sea, but there is the road in between. Car park looks like free, but soon to get full, I think, in summer, a little space in winter. So the grassy area at the side of the road comes to an end, and we go onto a pavement which is going to lead us to the bus terminus and turn round, where I shall stop and have an apple. So this is Golden Sands Holiday Park, and there we are on this 20-mile post. We get a little sign, England Coast Path. A nice development of what must be holiday homes here, attached to this bungalow. Over there, where the remains of a castle of some sort is Crestful Towers, the place I stayed in many years ago. They were small chalets. It continues along the wide grass verge, but track at the side of the wall. We enter the old part of the village where the left turn is away from the coast. All the properties on the right hand side of the road have direct access to the beach if they want, I believe. When I last came along this stretch, one of these bungalows was for sale, and they do have direct access to the beach on the other side. You can see the sea through the gap there. The village hall, Cresswell Parish Council. So we come to the main centre of Cresswell. It's taking just an hour and a quarter, so that's about 3 miles an hour. I'm going to stop here on this seat. There's the bus turn round for Cresswell. Sitting down now, the view from the seat. We have the sign on here again after my apple, about 5 minutes. The sign to Druridge Bay on Cycle Route 1, and the England Coast Path will probably follow that for most of the way. The bus turning circle, about another 20 minutes for the bus to Newcastle. So I'm crossing over the road here. It's planned to go this way. Ellington 1.5. Up the road up there, and just here we have the nice sign. England Coast Path, Newbiggin 4, and the other way, Druridge Bay Country Pot 4.5, Amble 8.5. So that should be possible. If we can get there for 4 o'clock, a selection of buses back. 4 o'clock, that's 3.5 hours for 8.5 miles. That ought to be alright. Hope the batteries last out. So coming over the brow of the hill here with the sign, and we get the wonderful sweep of the Druridge Bay. There's some posts over that way, so aiming for these posts, assuming that's the correct route. It says England Coast Path on it, and there are more posts further ahead, so I'll follow those. Track winds its way along. I hope that's been taken into account in the distance, and they've not taken the straight line distance, but there are a lot of signs, so that's good. So to the car park, with signs at the top pointing in that direction, so it's pointing that way. So this is Druridge Bay, Cresswell Dunes, and we're going along through the car park and onto a nice tarmac track. Now that seems to be the end of the car park. I wonder how much further the tarmac road will go on. So wonder no more, this is the end of tarmac and back onto a track, footpath among the dunes. So it turns off here. The well-trodden paths, I'll say that. Is this a new bridge that was needed for the ECP? Looks fairly new. Oh, and then a part that's fenced off. The path following this barbed wire fence on the left. Maybe to keep people away from the dunes, protect them. And we come up and we can see Druridge Bay. Quite busy. It's a Friday. It looks empty as we get further on. Well, it looks as if the path goes on the narrow one. I can see another post further on, but this is certainly not the more substantial path, although it is the way the arrow points. It is a bit of a path, but not as well tramped as the other one. Still through the dunes. There's another skylark twittering away. Along the top of this part of the dunes, we're joining up with the barbed wire fence in a moment. What a wonderful sight Druridge Bay is. Here's the post I could see. I've come the right way. The path sticking to the top of the dunes. We've got the barbed wire fence on the left. Now we've got a sort of lagoon here. So I suppose at high tide this might be cut off. So the path certainly got to go round this, which it does. It indicates left here. Quite a way round. And it's all the way around to a bridge on the road. The road, over the bridge, and then off the road again. England Coast Path, Druridge Bay Country Park 3. Well, it's gone down a bit. So to the road, where we turn right, over the bridge, ready-mix concrete. Ready-mix concrete ceased sand extraction from the beach here in 1996. We've got a gate here. Through the gate, Druridge Bay Country Park at 3.5. Across Road 1 mile, so we've gone 1 round this way. We've got some cows in this field. They don't get aggressive. The way that they stop and stare. No, it's not up the hill, it goes to the right of it. At the top of that rise, there are two paths. You can see which one I'm on. There is a fence on the left, so it keeps us on the straight and narrow, so to speak. And in front, there's another sign. Thank you for all these signs. There it is. And straight on at the side of the fence. Still at the side of the fence. Which looks as if it's an electrified one. And it opens up onto the beach again. Maybe people on the beach wonder why anybody would want to walk along the top when you could walk along the beach. And of course the official route of the England Coast Path is along here. On the left we have another feeding station for the cows, or bullocks, or heifers. Well, things with 4 legs anyway. So my first battery lasted until that point. I've just changed it. And away we go again. It's a long hard journey along this path, along the top of the sand dunes. It's going on a long way. So another post. Down from that post and up the other side. This is a very hard section. And it's slippery sandy. Not fast progress and very up and down. a lot easier along the beach. Shorter as well because of the curvature. So we'll rejoin the electrified fence. Electrified to keep the cows in and me out. You can see the faint track of the path as it wends its way down this side of the dune, coming to a bit of an inlet, clear of water at low tide. Oh no, not quite, no. So where's the path going here? I've lost it. Clearly not the way I've come. Here we are, a few yards back, and we can see the official way now. I'm going to say that it's been well signed so far, so it's got to be around this little inlet here, minding the four-legged things. So through the gate, they nicely mined out the way, that's good. Across here, until we find another sign. There is a gate in front, so just keeping to the side of the fence, and it's through the gate, and that's what happens. They start following you. So through this gate, where the beast will not follow, across here, and the path is not through the gate, thankfully, but to the right, along the side of the inlet again. You can see the cliff edge where I came to a sudden stop. Sharp left at this one. Then we join a bigger track, although I follow the signs carefully for the England coast path, so the way I came was correct. Now come to a part of Drury's Bay Beach which is much emptier, in fact completely empty, and on the other side of the dunes, well landscaped area for the cows. Our path is on the top of the dunes. Up and down, there's somebody coming the other way. And miles and miles into the distance you can see right around Drury's Bay. Not quite to Amble, and it must be about 6.5 miles to Amble. The path nearly non-existent from above, with the grasses leaning right over. So I'm wondering which way here. It's not directly left because that's very steep and gets away. So it's certainly not down that way. I think that sign is a little bit misleading. I can veer away from the front now. This is clearly the way. It's the big track. No other track on left or right. Still miles and miles and miles of bay. Right, this one's helpful. This way. Clearly down here. To join this main track to the beach, I guess there might be another watery inlet somewhere that we have to get round. In fact, there is another car park here, so perhaps the England Coast Path wants to bring in the car park. So somebody's sitting on a seat on the right. I just passed. And coming here I can see an acorn sign. So again, well signed, we're on the right path. The acorn, England Coast Path. Trouble with the acorn, it doesn't say which way to go. But in that theory I had last time, if there's no sign you carry straight on, and then that's what I've done. Straight onto here and we get a good sign. There's a good sign. Crestwell 2, Druridge Bay Country Park 2 this way. Along the path? No, it's not much of a path, is it? So it's along this bit of access road rather than the path. I can't see any signs that gets us off this road. I'll have to look at the map in a moment. So this is what slows things down. I've had a good look at the map, which has taken a minute or two, and it looks as if it's down the road, but I'm going to go there just to check that there's no sign on the post down there. So this is the situation here, and there's no sign of England Coast Path, so I'll go back to the road, and looking at the map it does look as if it goes right away, straight, so I should be able to cover some distance. Back out the road, and proceeding as fast as I can. Car coming the other way, there's not room to walk and have a car. All these vehicles parked along here. It's 20 past 1 now. Still some way along this road, but it seems to stretch for miles and miles. Well, it's easier walking than through the dunes, up and down, sandy. On the right to the dunes area, and this road carries on, and on, and on, and the road eventually finishes and comes to this track, cycle route 1. And there's the confirmation, thank goodness for that. England Coast Path 3 to Crestwell, Amble 5.5. So I ought to be able to do that in 2 hours. We'll make it about 3:30. This is how it goes. That's easy walking at the moment to make up for that awkward part earlier on. Onto a proper gate. We've got a sign, but this side we've got National Trust Druridge. Well, a proper gate, except it hasn't got any fastener on. And off we go again. And now coming to an even better track. Oh, it just gets better and better, which should mean faster and faster. Let's have a look now how far to Amble. There's a bus at 3:39. 5.5 still. No. On the left we have fields, and in the middle we have this very wide tarmac track road, and this tarmac road is going on for some distance. There's some planes around, and what a bit with somebody photographing them, where there's an explosion going off today in Northumberland. Just past one other pedestrian and a cyclist, otherwise it's a very quiet road. The road appears to be coming to an end, and there is a sign branching off half left. The road was good while it lasted. Looks as if it's coming to an end. We go through another gate and onto a narrow track, but it still looked a solid surface. So here we are. Coast Path and Northumberland Coast Path, but not that sign. We're still continuing. And there's a Wiro notebook here, 2017. Some charges: wall knocked down, double doors moved, £300, wall built £300, door £100, kitchen moved £1,000. It totals up to £9,700, with £1,750 for skips. Enough of that. On the England Coast Path we go. So we've lost most views of the sea. It is over there. Not over that stile into nature reserve area, but over here and over a footbridge. There's the footbridge, an old one, over the dyke, and we're still in Drury Bay Country Park, and it's called Chevington Burn. Another clear sign in front, England Coast Path to the left, the beach to the right. Amble is 5. It's not gone down very much. So those signs might be helpful, but they're a bit depressing when you've been walking for ages and it's gone down from 5.5 to 5. Just under 2 hours to get that 3:39 bus. So there are a few people walking in this section. Slightly off the track we have a sign, Drury Bay Nature Reserve. It doesn't say you are here. Oh, number 3, no. East Chevington Nature Reserve, number 2. So we're getting well on the way up. So past several people, and all is silent again. So this is another track on which progress can be good. It seems to have gone a long way, but that covers the distance. Plenty of ways across to the beach. You can hear the tide. The track continues, and I can see some people further on. More cows, more track, more people. There is a seat on which there is a little bag of rubbish, and these people. There's yet more people in front. It must be a car park area. We're coming to the end of that track. There's a little car park. Again the sign that says Drury Bay Country Park. We're following cycle route 1 still. Let's see what it says now. Crestwell's 4, Amble's 4. Oh, we've knocked off a mile. They certainly seem very long miles. The LDWA miles, I think. Welcome to Drury Bay Country Park, it said. So this way to the other signpost. Through the entrance gate we have another sign. We've had new signboards put up that they combine the Northumbrian coast path with the England coast path. It's still Amble 4. So to catch that bus I've got 4 miles in about an hour and 40. The sun nicely out, no wind. There's a sign here that says beach 80 yards to the right, visitor centre and cafe 220 yards, and the way we've just come is Cresswell 4, and the way we're going is Amble still 4. The last 3 posts have all said Amble 4. So another tarmac section, parking at the side where they can, and there's a kite. You can see a kite over there on the right. That was an attempt at videoing a flock, or 2 flocks of noisy geese. There's an interesting sign on the floor here. Hedgehogs slow. Although I can't imagine a hedgehog rushing, so why you need to tell the hedgehog to go slow, I don't know. Got a new sign here. I hope it's gone down from Amble 4. Oh, Cresswell's up to 5, but Amble's 3.5. 3.5 in about an hour and a half. And there is the kite over there, and there's our road. So Amble 3.5, this never-ending road might get us pretty well towards the outskirts of Amble. R111 May, I recall passing further back, parked. So on the road goes, and we've got 2 cyclists going towards us this time. So it opens up onto a bit of beach with a bit more wind, so you may not hear what I'm saying. Getting quite busy, the public road here. You can't see any signs that tell us to come off the road. And it doesn't go along the beach, so we'll stay with the road. Well, walking on the land side of Drury Bay is easier than I thought. I clearly didn't carry along with the dunes as it started off. and it's ended up on these roads for the country park, so they're able to make better pace, and we're coming to the end of the bay. The north end of Druridge Bay comes into sight there. Still a little bit more road left. One of the final car parks on the road. Very close access to the sea. So this is the end of the road. We've got another big sign. Let's see how far it is from here. Crestford has given us, not given, Druridge Bay Country Park 1 1/4 and Low Hawksley 1. And this is right at the north end of Druridge Bay. So the road is finished. We're onto a well trodden gravel path. A little seat here, people coming from the beach and people coming along the path towards me. And over an inlet, described as Hawksley Wildlife Discovery Centre, 1 kilometre that way. There's a little patch of snowdrops, the path we're going, just past a couple of cyclists. It's possible to hear the sea very well all the time, but you can't see it. The nature reserve, bird nesting areas, and the hide for visitors to watch the birds. There's another seat. We're approaching a set of signs, probably still along this gravel track. Signs tell us there's a public footpath and visitor centre 450 metres. The country park, East Chevington Nature Reserve, Crystal 10k, Amble 3.5k. Oh, it sounds as if it's gone up when they put it in kilometres. And an hour and 10 minutes left to catch that bus. So we come to the end of that. We're still on cycle route 1. The England Coast Pass made use of that once it left the dunes. Beachcombers retreat with a view of the sea, I expect, from up there. Way in the distance we can now see the power station and the beach, Low Hawksley, did it say it is, and round to Amble. It's a lighthouse of some sort, I think. Oh, that's on the Farne Islands, is that what it is there? So down through Low Hawksley. There's a sign of some sort here, but nothing recent. So we're approaching the village centre. Well, at least it's going down Amble 2 now. So straight ahead down there. This track joins the main road. I think we can cut off a bit of corner here, minding the bulbs. Amble is still giving us 2 on this sign. Druridge Bay 2 the other way. Not through that sign there, not following that, following the road. So it still said Amble 2. Hope it's not all along the road, although it would mean for faster progress, I suppose. Just over an hour to find the bus. So we have to find the bus stop first before we get to the bus. As I round the bend, I see that the sign takes us off to the right, which may be nearer but harder walking. But at least it now says Amble 1 3/4. Low Hawksley 1/4. So 1 3/4. And a sharp right. So that That's the road corner. We've just come over the dunes to look at the sea, up the hill and the sharp left, and up over the top. I think ahead we can see the outskirts of Amble. Certainly a good view of the lighthouse on the island. Looks like this pretty much all the way now. Not easy going though, it's sandy and up and down. But at least we can see the sea. Up and down and round and round, well, not quite round and round in circles, but certainly very twisty. But we do get a sign, and I'm glad the sign on the other side indicates the route in reverse that I've just come. A deserted beach, up and down, down and up, and that's what it's like down there. There's a beach and then a ledge of black from the coal mines from years ago, is it? So straight ahead, up the steepest part of course. Top. More of the same as we gradually approach Amble. Signpost at the bottom telling us to go straight on up the hill, inevitably. Try again. Signpost at the bottom telling us to turn left and avoid going up the hill. So it was moving away from the coast, now it's sharp right. And right again. Coming to a wide track, which hopefully will lead like that into Amble. So quite a wide track, well trodden track. So on the end of the wide track, it narrows off here. I can see in the not too far distance some caravans, and probably in a field on the edge of Amble. With 47 minutes to go to catch that bus now. This is what the dunes look like south of Amble. Little climb up. We can see our static caravans and a sign on the road that says Amble. Looks promising. We're not joining the road. We could have done just here, but it pulls us away, still through the dunes. And there's the sign for Amble. I can't hold it still enough. So here we are approaching Amble. So because it said Amble, I tended to slow down, but that's not a good move because there doesn't seem to be very much apart from these caravans at this point. So still some way to go to the village proper, and there's 42 minutes to get the bus. Now that looks like the centre of Amble down there, so it isn't too far. Our track's taking us here, and on the right is a signboard telling me it wasn't the Farne Islands, we're never much too far south for them. It's Coquette Island, a monastic cell and medieval tower. getting some nice views from the coastal side of Amble. A nice bay and beach, but once again nobody on it. It isn't as if it's cold today. It's above freezing, I think. Across the car parking area, just past the sign, and across the grass area, up the hillock at the other side. And surprise, surprise, it's not to the top, it's left. And if there's one caravan, there's 100. So the edge of the grassed area, next to the dunes, and I thought it was a church spire. I don't know, is it? Might be. So we're nearly into Amble, after a day's walking, anything but an amble one might say. So it's a churchyard, and it's the entrance to the cemetery with an archway in the middle of it. So we come down here and I guess we have to turn right. Yes. Just half an hour to go, and it's a sharp left around the boundary of the churchyard. On the other side of the sign it was that, whatever that means. So continuing ahead towards the centre of Amble. Parking prohibited in this area, and straight on from the sign across the track. Some 3-storey properties, may be able to see the sea. Well, this is a serious point, that we need a sign. I don't know which way to go. Maybe this one leads to the sea, but after having gone down that other one, it doesn't seem to go anywhere. This looks more like the main track, so I'm carrying on here. And it all joins up anyway, so there's another seat. And we're descending to the front of Amble. And I can see we're right because there's a sign at the bottom. Here we are, the confirmation here. Dogs must be on a lead in the park. England Coast Path straight on. Along here? Well, you can't go straight on just here, so we have to go round. Well, that bit's right at least. And it says on the side of the post England Coast Path here, but where does it go? So it's down the path from that signpost. So up the hill to a little car parking area, some nice properties on the end, a signboard there that says England Coast Path. There, and along there, along this way. Where's the centre of Amble to get the bus? A little repeater sign on the steps. Now this is where the map comes in useful, because I think without the map I would have gone down here. That is described as the alternative route down there. The official route is along this sort of breakwater and then along the bridge that you can see there, quite a way round, bringing you to the centre of the town. So it's off down here through the gate and down the side of the sea. Quite rough this side. And a little lighthouse on the end there. So the lighthouse at the end. We're coming to the end of that piece and we'll turn left. So at the end we've got the sea and we turn left. And that's the walk we've just come along, and this is where we're going, along this wooden part out over the sea, like a pier. We're walking straight into the sun at the moment. Got about a quarter around to find where the bus goes from. Quite at the end yet. We're coming to the dock area, the River Coquette estuary that goes to Walkworth, I think. And off the pier onto the dock area. The map indicates straight on, and it does finish at the travel centre and the estuary, and you can just see the castle. Well, I can, I don't know whether it's come out on the video. Still in the dock area. It stays in the dock area until it meets the road. It doesn't look as if that goes anywhere down there, so it's got to be around here. So is this where it meets the main road? I think it's, as I remember, the seafood centre, remember where the information place is. Well, it seemed to be meeting the road here, so this is going to be near enough, I think. Amble lifeboat station, private car park up to £1.50, and we're meeting a road, so that looks promising. So following the road round, so on Saturday, this is in Amble, and this is the left turn, and the information centre is straight ahead. Apparently it's closed today. There's the information centre, Amble Town Square. So after a bit of a tangle at the end there, I've eventually found the bus stop with about 2 minutes to spare.